right, welcome back. We are back out here with the Outcast. Went ahead, rebuilt all the shock, changed out the front ones. As you've seen in the last video, they are the standard shock on the front of this EXB, but they should work for today. And let me know what the valving, spring rate, everything is correct. Just picking up the RC and dropping it. It's Planet, so we'll give it a little bit of a rip up here today. I brought it by itself. Well, I brought another RC. I'm just not going to run it together, just because I got to put some time and attention into this to try to get it to land and not break. So running two different style RC cars, you really have to basically focus on that style RC, especially between brands. Like Traxk and Arrma. Totally different driving styles between the X-Max and the Outcast. Totally different platform. Way different weight, handling characteristics, everything with the two are different. The only thing that's similar is they're both large-scale RC bashers. Monster trucks, if you will. So we're gonna get up here, do a little bit of running. We'll see how protected the chassis is now from landings. Adjusting my throttle trims. This thing is a beast. So well Planet now. The wheelies are actually controlled. Now I can actually hit full trigger now, because the front wheels drop slowly and doesn't really push up the front of the RC, which is perfect. I can do wheelies, but rolling wheelies are easier now. I'm playing with the steering trim constantly. I notice once it starts to warm up a little bit, it starts going left, and then you have to compensate it by going right. And you have to stop and set your trim because of AVC. If you're always on the trigger making steering corrections, it'll tend to try to hold it straight. And then when you stop, it'll be off again. So we're gonna hit the same little track, listen for the impacts, and see how this thing does. Already covered in dirt. It is dry out here. Not a lot of traction out here. No moisture today. I'm gonna come over to this one. Normally I stand on that front one. Just take it a little easy. Yeah, I can already tell the landings are way smoother. Planet, not slapping. Not a hard impact landing, which is great. Even off these little jumps last time, It was slapping the chassis off everything. See? You can see and hear, hopefully the camera picks it up, how smooth it is. Even bouncing off the top of the lip. Well controlled, well planted. Somebody was saying these shock shafts are too thin for the EXB. They were run on the original Outcast. EXB is just supposed to be a stronger version, but the weights are going to be the same. EXB only was heavier because of all the parts that were put on it, and not heavy by much. So I think the shock shafts will survive until the EXB shafts come in. Well planted now. Oh, had to correct off that one, too light on the trigger. See, even a dead flat landing sounded way better. It's just more controlled right now because the acceleration isn't squatting the suspension and then taking off. Still a heavy RC, but shocks are doing amazing right now. One thing I didn't check was the tires or the pinion. Nose landing. Knew I wasn't going to make that one. There's a rock right there. Want to check the front, see if I have to make correction. No, we're doing pretty good. Springs are settling a little bit, but not much. They're still dampening perfect. Landed on the brakes there. In total control of it right now, which is pretty awesome. Can you guys see a difference? I know I can. Especially with the control. That's about the same crash I had last time, maybe a couple more tumbles. I saw it get off kilter, tap the brakes and let off, rather than have a hard crash. Just kicking rocks. The wind is blowing at my face, so blows the dirt right into my eyes. Trying to take the same line I took last time. Yeah, the landings are just so much smoother. Oh, that was the same crash I had last time. It doesn't like jumping at an angle. Just checking the arms on the crash. So that steering link is coming apart. Yep, that screw's coming out right there. Maybe not. No, it's not. That one seems a little loose. Oh yeah, that screw is coming out on the steering. Look at all that slop. Look at all that slop in the steering. The screws are coming out right there. All right. Let's take it back and see if I can tighten up those screws. I think I'm gonna have to throw some Loctite on those screws. That's the second or third time. That's probably why the steering won't stay centered. Second or third time taking this thing out where those screws have come loose. I really need to take this thing down to the bell crank and service everything in the steering on this thing. But I'm really surprised it's starting to handle like I remember. Just the steering again, because it's going right now. But all a part of testing and tuning. It's hard to slap something together and be perfect the first time out. Especially when you had the whole RC in pieces. I'm just constantly repairing stuff on this. The only thing, somebody was saying, it's hard to compare a 4-year-old RC against a brand new X-Max. Well, the only thing 4 years old on this are the differentials, the ESC, the motor, and the chassis braces. Everything else on it's new. New tires, new suspension, new chassis. So basically all the stuff that breaks and continues to break is newer than my 10-month-year-old X-Max. So it's hard to say this thing's 4 years old when I just spent $800 on parts rebuilding the thing. But to each his own, believe what you want. That's why I show every video on what I do with this thing, because then it at least gives a timeline to where people could actually watch and see what's happening with the RC car. So I don't know if the arm broke and then the shock shaft bent, because I believe the springs were just collapsed and the fluid was just due to be changed, and that's why it was hard chassis slapping. Or the shock shaft's been bent the whole time, because you can't catch it unless you pull the spring off. It's such a slight bend. What it would do is it would aerate from the bottom by the O-ring. It would stick and then let some air in through the bottom, and then the fluid would be all milky looking with a bunch of bubbles in it, just because it's sucking up dirt and everything from the bottom. That's what I mean by aerating. Let's see if we can get to those steering. I don't believe we can, but we're gonna try. Motor's ice cold. There's a lot of play in that diff. Oh, the ESC fan, is that broken again? Or is there just dirt in it? It's not broken. No, it spins. All right. Some of those blades have taken a beating though. Oh, that motor's gonna have to come out to tighten that one. The screw's on the back side where the motor's at. Yep. So I cannot get to it without pulling out the whole front differential or taking out the motor assembly to get to that screw that is backed off in there. So that's going to end our day with this one. That sucks. Right off the bench, back onto the bench to be torn down again. And I just went through that stuff when I did the chassis change. I checked all the hardware to make sure it was all in good shape. Brought a backup RC, another Outcast. So I am going to, they tether it from the bottom so the controller's upside down. But whatever. I'm gonna go ahead and get this one put away and I call the suspension a success. You can see everything sticking to them because they're a little oily, but they're working flawlessly. That almost poked a hole through. I've already taped the inside of it. Brand new body. It's already getting a hole in the front, but it is what it is. It's a basher. Just buy another one when it's due. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the other Outcast ready, but like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Did it perform better? I'll get the steering fixed, then we'll get the X-Max and the Outcast back out here to the track, and we'll do the same thing again and see if you guys can see a difference. I notice a huge difference. I can hear the difference. But get out here, bash some RC, fix them, repair them. Just enjoy yourself with the hobby. But there we go. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Checking oil on set deck truck. Wiped it clean. We're gonna put it in here. I'm not seeing anything. Nothing's reading. Nothing's reading on the dipstick. And it says oil change required. Gotta get some oil in this truck ASAP. Set deck.